thought that I wanted to, and then realized that, years later, I'm not that excited about it.
Hey guys, it's Karen. So, that little clip you just saw was me earlier today watching the Artcasters. Um, and that was the art challenges I think that was the most recent one they just did. And they were talking about the 100s and Inktober and all kinds of other stuff. It was really a good one. But it also kind of like prompted me to get my SHIT together and work on my comic during the day today while I was listening to them um, instead of waiting till the last minute tonight. So I originally tried to record this on my camera, but the camera, I have an iPhone 6, but it's full of too many apps and junk. So I mean, when I get the iPhone 7, maybe you can do more with my camera because it's supposed to have twice the. I just have the regular 6, and when I went to the iStore and talked to them about it, they said it had like twice as much memory or gig or whatever. So I need to get that done. But anyway, okay, so I'm going to switch over to the other screen and show you what I did today. Um, so I do want to say, first of all, that I have been, so I've been trying to write this thing like I would approach it like a script that somebody else was going to draw from. And partially because I like writing, partially because it's a challenge that way, and I'm usually like super perfectionistic. I want to get everything done. But after doing those thumbnails the other day, I thought, well, maybe I need to work back and forth because that seemed a lot more freeing. Again, if I was going to write a script for someone else to draw, I couldn't do it this way, but since I'm drawing it, I'm just going to experiment with this. And so today I went ahead and I thumbnailed out page 5, which I'd only done the top panels on the last time we spoke. And I do have to say, before I show you all this and talk about it, it's been about 3 days since my last video. I skipped one day of actual drawing. That was the night of the debate. I don't want to go into politics, but I was so frustrated and upset by things in this world. I was watching it with my husband, the debate, even though I wasn't going to originally watch it because my mind is already made up. But I sat down to watch it a little bit with him, and I got sucked in, and then I just felt horrible, and other things came up, and I just was not. It was just too toxic. So as some people commented on Twitter, I apparently am like weak and childish. I'm not childless. I have a child, but I am childish and weak, according to the Trump followers on Twitter. Oops, I talked politics. But anyway, yeah, that was another interesting experience. Is that normally nobody pays attention to my tweets except for my, a few couple of followers. I have like 500 followers, but you know how Twitter is. Oh, but apparently talking about the election will bring out some lovely people. So that was funny. I was actually laughing about that. That didn't like upset me or anything. I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. It took all my willpower not to engage with them. So I'm still getting a couple reactions from it, like all this time later, which is, I mean, not much, thank God, because I don't need toxic. But that was pretty funny. Anyway, so and then last night or yesterday's work, I just did sketches. I was working on I was kind of doing, I found another, a YouTuber that's really good. So I was working on construction, and he's an animation guy. And I was like, when I find somebody good on YouTube, I usually end up binge watching their videos. And so I'm in the process of binge watching all of his. And so I was like doing like I was following along with his tutorials or his explanations and trying it out on my characters. And so technically, it wasn't really, I mean, I don't know if I technically should count it as part of my 30 days, but I did work on my character and my character building, like actually practicing drawing my character. So I'll consider it design work. And because I'm still not 100% nailed down with my anatomy style, whatever I want to do. I also practiced some inking on top of what I had drawn, different styles. So I'll call it concept, but there was nothing good enough that I want to show you guys. It was just, I mean, so anyway, but I will show you this today and then I'll get going. So let me switch the screen over so that you can see. Oops. I gotta get this one out of here. Okay. So if you remember last time we talked, let me get my stylus. I had, last time I showed you this, I had done page 3. I still haven't touched page 2 since the other video. And I had done page 4 over here. I don't know why I can't show, my mouse doesn't show right now. Maybe if I make a bigger brush. No, because I have the dot thing set up. All right, well, you guys will just have to follow along as best you can. So, so yeah, I had this page done where my main character is being frisked on the car, and I just had these empty word balloons because I figured they'd say something, but I haven't scripted it yet. And then, so I've been trying to, I've already like expanded my original outline by 1 page of content, and I was thinking, so I went back to start this morning while I was watching the Artcasters, and I went back to my outline and I started shifting things around. And then I thought, okay, well, instead of just trying to write out what they're going to say, let me just draw it first. And then, you know, again, I'm doing the Kirby Lee method, draw first, write after. See the action in my head and know where there's doing and then fill in the dialogue. And so I have been stressing all this time about how am I going to write this transition into the fight scene, because I want there to be a big fight scene, and how am I going to do that? Like what are they going to say that's going to lead up to it? So it wasn't until, and I didn't have the answer until I had drawn the top 2 panels last time, which was and last time we talked, there was her, the team leaders looking at the, she's looking at the, I guess I didn't save this last time. She's looking at that, that's supposed to be a camera. She's looking at the memory card on the camera. And she then has a wordless reaction, and that's where I left it. So I'd been thinking about it since then, and I was like, okay, well, she's gonna, here's some really rough stick figures, but it works because it got me thinking. So then she says, let him up here, let him up, and then who hired you, you know, because she wants to know. And then he'll say, this is Gregor here. So Gregor would say, you know, something like, you know, I can't tell you that. So Cricky and Fowler have backed off when they let him up. So I didn't need to see, like, in when I'm writing prose, you know, I'd write those moments like, you know, Fowler hauled him off the car, and he straightened his tie, and, you know, whatever. He stood up and gathered himself, straightened his tie, whatever. That's lame, but that whatever he would have done. I don't need to do any of that in the comic book. I don't need to spell out those moments. I can just go from shot to shot, and which, I mean, at least I think I can. I hope I can, right? Because I don't need to, it's not a movie where I'm filling in, or an animation where I'm doing 24 frames a second or whatever. It's a comic book, and I just need to have the major keyframes, or the key moments. And if I want to slow down and break things out, I can, but I don't need to do all that every single page. So this was really helping me, I think. And, you know, again, maybe this isn't going to be the best solution, and I'm sure seasoned pros could do this a million times better than me, but I'm just allowing myself to experiment. So I was like, okay, well, I don't need to let him up. We know they're going to let him up, so we just see him being up. We don't need to see the movement, right? So then I have a close-up. This would be a close-up of her looking menacing, you know, saying something like, are we going to have to do this the hard way? You know, something cheesy like that. You know, it's not the best dialogue, but I can write that later. Something along those lines. So that's what I was thinking there. And then on the bottom, you know, when I drew this thumbnail, if you zoom out, he kind of reminded me of Clint Eastwood here. So I have a Clint Eastwood grit written note to myself down there. But then, so he says something like, yeah, or whatever he says, he responds here to her question, and then I don't need to see. All we need to do then see is the action of the punch. And this was the moment, this action of the punch right here, getting sucker punched by Cricky, either to his face or probably his gut, because they're still going to try to talk to him. Getting punched by Cricky. I don't need to spell it out. I don't need to have all those in between moments. I can just have the action, right? I think. So that's what I decided. It was sort of like a revelation to me today. And I could do a lot more with the moments to moments, but I'm still trying to keep the page count constrained, and I don't want to go much over what I'd already allotted myself, and I'm already a page up. And I probably will go 2 pages over my allotment, but it's okay. Again, I'm just writing this for myself, so it doesn't really matter. But so yeah, that's what I did today. I spent about 40 minutes on this probably. So I think I'm going to continue this hybrid way of method working. It seems to me like getting a detailed outline thought out, and then drawing what I see in my head and combining that with writing and working back and forth and bouncing between the two rather than trying to set up. Like, I wouldn't want to just work off completely like an outline. Like, in scenes where I have the dialogue or I know specifically what's going to happen, it's best to write out as much detail as I can. But for these transitions and stuff, closing my eyes and thinking of it as a movie in my head, and then trying to draw out some of the things that I see or some of the possibilities, that seems to be really helping getting me through those awkward transitions or those things I'm stuck on. Like I said, I never would have, until I figured this out, who hired you, I can't tell you, like I had to think about that that didn't come to me right away in the writing. And I didn't even realize until she was like looking at his stuff that she would have to ask him that question. I mean, maybe other people who were writing it would have come up with it, but right away. But anyway, at the end, what I'm trying to say is this hybrid method seems to be working for me right now, and I'm trying to not be hung up on making this perfect or a freaking groundbreaking graphic novel or anything. It's just my practice comic to teach me how to do this thing. So anyway, I'm gonna get going now, and I will hopefully do some more work on this tomorrow, and I'll see you guys then. I hope you're all having a great time doing your own thing. All right, bye for now.